10 millimeter versus 44 Magnum, and we're talking soft point today, hunting ammunition or possibly bear defense. And the 10 millimeter and the 44 mag are different brands, but I could not acquire the Federal brand of this. But typically when you get into brands like Federal, Winchester, Remington, they're pretty much all the same thing when it comes to their 44 Magnum soft point ammunition. So what we have here today, 44 Magnum is a semi-jacketed soft point, 240 grain, rated at 1180 feet per second. The 10 millimeter is the bonded bear claw, 180 grain, rated at 1275 feet per second, and Federal lists that as a powerful load. They compare it to other rounds, saying that the other rounds are weak and this is a full power round. So we'll see how full power it really is compared to other 10 millimeter ammunition. And the pistol I like to use is the 5.3 inch conversion pistol. Glock 41, but it's converted to 10 millimeter. The reason for that is most of your rated velocities out of a 5-inch barrel for 10 millimeter, and I figured, you know, it's cheaper, it's easier just to go conversion for a 5-inch Glock rather than have some other barrel length that's not really comparable to factory velocities or factory test barrels. The 44 is a 4.25 inch model 69, Smith & Wesson model 69. Depending on the company, you're talking either a 4-inch or a 6-inch barrel rated velocity at the factory. So I have no idea what Winchester uses. But anyways, for this test, I'm going to use the Big Dangerous Game Pack. I like to use that when we're talking possible bear defense or hunting. And what this is a layer of thick carpet. And then we have 2 baloney packs, which would be about 3.5 inches of baloney, and then behind that, instead of my 1/4 inch medium density fiberboard, we have 2 of them. So we have a 1/2 inch medium density fiberboard, and that's actually a lot harder than regular plywood. So this is basically double our normal ballistic pack. So we're gonna go through the chronograph, see what kind of velocity and accuracy we get at the same time with this ammunition. And as always, we're gonna go through the Juggernaut box, and that will contain one of these ballistic packs and then 6 gallons of water. And it's going to be kind of hard to tell you what this is going to be in comparison to ballistics gel, because I don't know what the big pack. But the hard cast, I can tell you this, the hard cast Buffalo Bore and Underwood went through all 6 jugs after going through a pack like this. So let's get started with the test and see how 10 millimeter soft point compares to 44 Magnum soft point. All right, we're about 4 yards from the chronograph and 5 yards from the target. We'll see how this 10 millimeter does. See how close we can get to that 1275 feet per second. .1276, pretty close. A little bit of a jam on here. This is a conversion barrel, so the chamber is a little bit tighter than your stock Glock barrels. .1256. 1277. 1251. 1285, and a lot better reliability with this pistol with this magazine that the Jurgis Rudd sent to me. That seems to be the issue with my conversion. It wasn't something I did wrong, it was a Glock OEM part issue. Now let's try the 44 Magnum and see how that compares. All right, 44 Magnum, rated at 1180 feet per second. I don't know the barrel length, but we'll see how close we can get to 1180 feet per second. I'll read. 1119. 1167. 1165. I don't think that read. Do a couple more rounds. 1226. 1190. So I would say they probably did use a 4-inch barrel for that rate of velocity. So both these ammunitions, we averaged real close to the rated velocity, so that's pretty good. Let's hit the ballistic box and see how these two compare to each other. First up, we have the 10 millimeter. I kind of suspect something similar to the hard cast, full jug penetration, but hopefully not. It has a softer tip. That's kind of what we're hoping for, that it will do kind of in between what a hollow point and a hard cast would do, but we shall see. 10 millimeter auto. Wow. There's baloney everywhere. All right, what I mean there's baloney everywhere, it's like little particles all over the table there. And this whole pack is just blown to pieces. A lot of damage going on here. So let's see what we got in water jugs. So here's our first jug, and it contains these fiberboard packs. And here's where it exited out the back. Here's where it entered. And it looks like larger than starting bullet diameter from what I'm seeing here. And it almost looks like hollow point expansion, what we see with hollow points coming out the back of these two pieces of fiberboard. This is massive. Where it entered the second part of the fiberboard, look at that. That's a huge amount of damage. First jug is absolutely blown apart. Looks like a hollow point hit this. So let's see what we got in water jugs. All right, a second jug, we went straight through that. I don't see any deviation of where the impact and exit through that second jug is. Same thing with jug 3, just straight through it, no deviation. There's a dent in jug 4. Captured bullet in jug, or I should say there's a dent in jug 5. Captured bullet in jug 4. That's going to indicate about 18 inches comparison to ballistic gel, which surprises me. I thought it would have went further. And I can definitely tell what's going on here. There's peeled back petals. This is exactly what I was suspecting this was. It's a hollow point, no doubt. The petals are all peeled back like hollow points, but then the center was filled with probably pure lead. It actually looks like different alloys here. You have to look at the photo of this, but you can see a brighter alloy closer to the petals, but the very center it's a little darker, suggesting they took a traditional hollow point that was made with a lead alloy and just put pure lead in the center to fill it, rather than the rubber plug or something like a critical defense might do. So I'm not sure if that's the best thing you want to have for hunting, but you could definitely use this for self-defense. So let's see how that 44 Magnum compares. All right, obviously an error on my part saying that it's comparison to 18 inches of ballistic gel, because I forgot to realize that it's a double baloney pack, it's a double fiberboard. So in the past I considered that one of my baloney packs would represent about 6 inches of ballistics gel. So we're gonna have to add 6 inches to that. So I would say 24 inches comparison to ballistics gel if we had to look at it that way. However, my testing is not quite comparable to ballistics gel in a lot of ways because I'm using that hard fiberboard, but definitely more penetration than your typical hollow point. So let's see how that 44 mag compares. All right, 44 Magnum, definitely a little more power, a little more bullet weight. I expect a little bit more penetration, but we will see what we get here. 44 mag. Okay, most of the baloney pack is there. Looks like it was missing. All right, one of our fiberboard pieces is on the ground. The other one is stuck to this pack. It is taped up quite well. And we're seeing kind of something similar here. This would be our impact. This is our exit, and by the time it goes to the second piece of fiberboard, where it impacts that fiberboard looks like expansion. So let's see what we got with the baloney pack. So here's where we impacted, and a lot less dramatic with the 44 Magnum, which is going to represent your typical soft point. So what we're definitely seeing is this is acting more like a traditional soft point as where that 10 millimeter was not. So let's see what we got in water jugs. All right, our first and second jug have a lot more damage than the 10 millimeter. First jug, second jug. So yeah, we're dumping our energy a little bit deeper in with that 44 Magnum, which makes sense with the heavier bullet. Impact on jug 3, a pretty significant crack through that. Jug 4, and it doesn't really look like we're deviating at all from where we impacted the first jug. Impact on 5. And we're drifting down by the time we hit 5, and it looks like there's an impact on 6. and completely through all 6 jugs. So I'm going to take that back stop down and take a look for that bullet. Found that bullet pretty quickly. It just barely impacted that backstop and then stopped. And we definitely have more deformation of that bullet than what we did with the hard cast. So to me, it looks like this is creating equal amount of penetration, but we actually have expansion too versus the hard cast ammo. So I kind of see an advantage here with this ammunition. So one more little test I want to do. I just want to launch these at a little bit of a range and just see what kind of knockdown power, or whatever you want to call it, force they have at that range and accuracy. All right, I'm 50 yards from that metal tank out there. We'll do 5 rounds of each just to kind of see how these do. So 10 millimeter. Don't think I hit it. A little bit of a feeding issue there, not too bad though. All right, I'm starting to get some nosedive, or not nosedive, but high up jams on this thing. All right, out. Only 4 rounds. I lost that 5th round somewhere. I think I hit it once. It's kind of hard to tell from here, but we'll try the 44, see how that does. All right, 44 mag now with the revolver. If I was hunting, I would definitely consider single action. So we'll see how that does. Hold that one high. That one a little bit to the right. So what I'm seeing with the round that did impact, it does look like it has a lot more knockdown force at that range over the 10 millimeter. Actually quite a bit more. I wouldn't even consider them comparable, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So that's what you get today, 10 millimeter versus 44 mag. We saw with the 44, it did act like a traditional soft point. As for the 10 millimeter, I'm guessing they're just taking hollow points and filling them. I'm not saying it's a bad round, but what I'm saying is it's not really truly a comparable, I guess, big game round, something like that. Kind of in the middle there. I think it would do better than a hollow point, but not quite comparable to a soft point. But it did feed relatively well in that conversion, which is not necessarily reliable most of the time. But hey, that's all I got to say about it. So that's what you get today, 10 millimeter versus 44 Magnum soft point. So as always, comment, share, and like, and thanks for watching.